Hello, and welcome to the introductory episode of the Nerdy Things podcast. I'm your host, Kevin. With me is Jules. Hi, Jules.
Hey, Jules. What's up? I think that's good. I think we can use that one. That'll be the one that we use. So we're going.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, this is our first episode. I'm pretty excited. I got I don't know. I got a lot of ideas, and as we were chatting since about last week, and they just kept coming, and I'm really excited to get this started. It's hopefully going to be a lot of fun for us, but then if people want to listen, that'd be cool too.
Yeah. So that's the hope.
Yeah. So maybe we can start off by like chatting about us, I guess, getting to know us. Like tell me if you had like an online dating profile, just go through that. Go through that bio, please. Because that's usually the best parts of us, right? So tell me the best.
That's definitely the worst parts of me. That is my worst qualities shine when I try to describe myself, because I am awful as a human being, both in how I'm built and how I act.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like my nerd qualifications, I got a 3D printer. I watch every movie that I can. I work in a furniture store that has a movie theater in it. So I get to see whatever movies they're playing there essentially for free. My wife and I go see just about everything.
Wow, that's awesome. I know when I used to work at Best Buy, I would always get to see some pretty cool stuff. Probably not as cool as you, but like I would handle all the cool games that just came out. So maybe that's my one of my nerdy qualifications. That for a good while I was super into gaming and all that. I guess I really wish I saw more movies. I want to see more movies. Hopefully get me to watch more movies, please.
That's the plan. This is, to me, an excuse for us to do more of that stuff that we already love. I went and put all of the Spider-Man comics back on my tablet last night. I'm going to continue my trek through Spider-Man comics chronologically. I'm in 1994. They're terrible.
Oh, geez.
Absolutely terrible. But I need to progress because I want to keep up with it.
Yeah, cool. I usually watch some more TV shows over movies, I guess, just because there's so much content and there's so many things out there, and maybe during the podcast we can sort of just sift through it together to see what's good, what's bad, and hopefully talk to people and have people suggest some cool stuff for us to
Yeah, I want to get exposed to more stuff through you, through other people listening, through suggestions, through all that. So I think it's phenomenal. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I guess we can start off like where they can reach us. Where can they find us if they want to talk to us? What's the email? nerdythingspod at gmail.com, I think, right?
Yep. We got Nerdy Things Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Nerdy Things Pod at Nerdy Things POD. And then you can message us suggestions or whatever. Use the hashtag NerdyCast. What? Shit. I already forgot. I'm bad at this. It's the first episode. I'm sure it'll come out good later on. But hashtag Nerdy Things, NerdyCast, NerdyCasts, NerdyCast. That one. That last one. You just find us, follow us on all the things, and we'll hopefully put out some cool stuff. We'll put out the podcast, and anything that's interesting to us, we'll like share it or whatever.
Yeah,
and it'll be cool.
Very nice.
I wanted to talk about maybe like when we were like thinking about names for all the stuff, the words that we wanted to use were kind of like geek, nerd, kind of like this thing that's a broad group of people. But then I started thinking, what do you think the difference is between a geek and a nerd to you and how would you describe you in those two contexts?
I think I'd probably be a nerd because to me the old school geek is the one at this circus that just eats weird things. So
All right.
How about you?
I don't. Wait. What? Who eats? Who? Oh, first off, the circus is going down. I think
that's one of the definitions of a geek. Is there used to be the freak at the circus that would just eat any, like you'd see them just pick up a raw fish and just bite it, and just they're all usually tattooed and awful and awesome at the same time.
So I did not think of that at all.
Well, that's because I'm older than you. You know what? I'm the grandfather of this scenario.
Oh God, yeah, jeez, yeah. I've probably been to the circus once or twice, maybe, and that was like the tame Ringling Brothers, whatever. Barnum and Bailey's.
No, we're talking the smells like cabbage travels the countryside by horseback type.
A bunch of carriages, you can smell them roll through before you actually see them. No, I have no experience with that. But okay, I was thinking geek more of like the techie sort of guy that knows a lot about, computers or gaming on. Oh, I play WoW. I'm a level whatever in WoW whatever. But
all
I know
right. Listen. All right, so I'm level 110, warrior. God. Okay, and I built my own CNC machine and turned that into the plans for a 3D printer, and I fix computers, and I'm the guy that everybody calls. So yeah, I'm a geek too.
Okay, so there you go. I would then, knowing that information, I would put you as a geek. But since you thought of the geek being the fucking whoever George eating fucking random shit at the...
I break stereotypes. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
that's
the
awesome.
superhero.
That's who
guy.
you are.
I'm the guy that's wearing the superhero bow ties at work that I made myself. I'm the guy
awesome.
that has all of the experience with, disrespecting DC Comics and loving Marvel Comics. All of my quote-unquote friends at work come to me for expertise on it because they know nothing.
That's awesome, man.
How about you?
So I don't know a whole lot. Using my thought process about geeks versus nerds, I think I'm more of a nerd as the 21st century nerd, I guess. I don't know. I'm a millennial, so that's different. We're not in the same age group, I guess. And now it's kind of taken on this whole thing to where nerdiness is kind of cool now, where I don't know if you experienced that when you were younger, where now people are like, oh, you like the Marvel movies? Hell yeah, dude. They're fucking cool. And probably way back in the day, if you were caught reading like one of those comics, they're like, who the fuck are you? Get the fuck away from me. I don't know. That's not my experience, whatever. But I think I'm kind of like the cool nerd. Not really. Okay, never mind. Once you say you're the cool nerd,
you can't say that because it makes it not true when you say it.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm implying that I'm a cooler nerd.
Great.
Then, no, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I am. But, I just kind of like the way the nerd culture kind of embraces everybody. It's not about who you are. It is about who you are. It's not about like what you look like or whatever or anything. It's like, hey, you like this thing, I like this thing too.
It's more about what you love.
Yeah. And then, when you go to cons or whatever, and then you see somebody dressed as your favorite like character, you're like, oh shit, that's fucking cool. I don't know who you are underneath that, whatever, but you like my shit. So hell yeah, I'm going to take a picture with you. So I kind of like that whole, nerd culture that's been growing lately, maybe in the past 10, 15 years or whatever. But that's kind of where I'm at, just going into like trying to figure it all out, trying to get into as much things as I can, watching TV shows. I used to play a bunch of like card games like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and all that, video games and all that stuff. And, and it's just like, I just want to, connect with people. I like connecting with people. That's maybe why I got into like doing podcasts, because on my other podcast I interview a lot of people, but not about like nerdy shit.
See, that's funny because I got into this because I'm absolutely terrified of putting myself out there, so this is phenomenal.
Oh, really? Why is that? I mean, do you go to like any like meetups or conventions or anything?
I go to a couple Comic Cons, but frankly, like for my job, I'm in sales. I have to be, 12 hours a day on the floor, interacting with as many people as I can, basically on the entire time, yet I still think of myself as the shy little kid, and I just can't get up in front of people and talk in my head. I can in real life. It's great. But I just don't have that self-image. So I figure, why not break it? Let's do something where I have to do this every week and get out there.
Right, little steps. I mean, they can't see us, but they'll hear us. So I mean, that's a one step. Like right now, I'm in my room or the recording room that I use, and I'm all by myself. And you're probably all by yourself too, because there's you don't want other audio there.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like a me and you thing, whatever. And people are going to listen to it, but they won't see us like up on a stage or anything like that.
Wait, they can't see us? I wouldn't have put pants on.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if you want to put a thing like whatever, an after video or whatever, the making of,
no,
like you in a suit or whatever,
no,
you can do that. That's not what I'm doing. You say we're going to be on YouTube, so I don't know what you want to do there. You can just video you.
It's
doing
going to
crazy
be
stuff.
Just a graphic for the most part. Like I said, I may do something fancier down the road, but that's well beyond my skills now.
Can it be a picture of you with no pants? That'd be good.
Oh, definitely. But it'll be a picture from the chest up, so you won't know that I have no pants.
Yeah, it'll just say Kevin, no pants, audio only. Just use it for clickbait.
There you go. Exactly.
So yeah, those are our thoughts on, I guess, geek versus nerd. I guess we're leaning towards the nerd thing. That's why it's called Nerdy Things. And yeah, this is our podcast. Hopefully we haven't scared you off yet.
Or maybe hopefully we have, if you like that. Who knows? Yeah,
if you're into that, totally. I'll totally be somebody's guilty pleasure. I'm cool with that. Oh, yeah, let's talk about again, getting to know each other, getting to know the audience and stuff like that. How about our first time that we thought we were nerds? The first time we were like, oh shit, like, oh, I'm a little different. I like some different stuff.
I don't know. Definitely, I think it was when I was much younger playing video games. I was one of the only kids on my block with I had a ColecoVision.
Oh shit.
Yeah, an Atari 2600 shortly after that. Nintendo NES when that came out, and just snowballed from there.
So you were just there playing video games.
Oh yeah, We had. I'm not even sure where the console came from. I'm pretty sure my dad won it at a contest at work for the ColecoVision. And
oh, nice.
Oh yeah, just to really hammer everything home.
Yeah, I think. Whenever you start playing video games, is when it gets pretty intense. Well, I think whenever you start like choosing to do the nerdy thing other than hanging out with people. Is when
the only other kids in my neighborhood were years older than me, and it wasn't a tough choice.
So I think for me is when like I think I played. Let me see. I think I played like Donkey Kong or Crash Bandicoot when I was younger on like PlayStation 1 or I think 1, and some other video games and stuff like that. And I would always try and go to that person's house, like not even to like hang out, because like I don't know, like I guess my parents I lived with my great grandparents when I was younger, and they just didn't want me to get into the video game thing. They wanted me to go play outside or whatever.
Yep.
And so I never really had a console until a little bit later, but I would always be like, hey, like, oh, do you want to hang out? Can I go over or whatever? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. They're like, come over. And I would just play their video game all the time, like just completely disregard the person that was in the room. And I was just like, oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Well,
I'm playing Crash Bandicoot right now. I don't think I can go anywhere. I can't, I'm kind of stuck here, But so I think that's when I kind of noticed. I was like, oh, this might be a problem sometime soon.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a coworker yesterday at work about how many different consoles I've owned through the years, and it made me realize that my jealousy of my cousin was unfounded, because he had the Super Nintendo, which I never got. And he had the Game Boy virtual reality goggles.
Oh, shit.
Which were terrible.
Of course, yeah.
He broke them within, I think, 6 days of getting them.
Shit.
But I've had like I said, the Coleco, the Atari 2600, NES, Sega Genesis. Trying to think. Oh, the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox Original, which my grandparents won in a raffle at their church. Xbox 360.
People are just winning things and just giving them to
Oh
you.
yeah, and you know what? And listen, I've led a charmed life. It's really fantastic. When I changed jobs to the job I have now, I looked at that like a raise because I get into the movies for free, and with how much my wife and I would go to the movies, that was like an extra $300-$400 a month.
God, that's almost like why you chose it. I mean, I would if they put that perk. If they told me to like go outside for 20 hours a day and like fucking break concrete and fucking drive around tractors or whatever, and then they would say, "Oh yeah, and you get free movies or whatever." I'd be like, "Sure, why not?
No
you
problem.
don't have to pay me."
Do I get a hammer or do I just use my hands?
Yeah. Where do I sign? Do I sign right here? Can I start right now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I have to avoid spoilers, though, because when I'm out on the sales floor and they let the movie out, you get all these people that come out, and their first thought is, "Oh, man, did you see at the end when so-and-so did that thing?"
Yeah. Let's talk about how are we going to deal with spoilers? How long should we wait until it's okay to talk about a thing?
Well,
because like you said you're probably gonna go see the Lego Batman movie. Yep. I'm probably gonna go see it, hopefully, either today or tomorrow.
Yep, I'm going tonight. I'm quote unquote having my birthday party at the movie theater I work at.
It's your birthday.
Today's my birthday.
Why didn't you start off with that?
Why
did I not know
me.
this? What? Happy birthday! You're starting a podcast.
This is my gift to me.
Stuff. Oh man, cool! I'm glad I'm here. Oh god, that made me nervous. Now I have to be on now. Jeez, don't fuck it up. God damn. Now I'm gonna look back at the pilot episode and be like, wow, you really fucked up his birthday.
Not at all.
Cool. Well then, yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Know that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So as far as handling spoilers, we'll mark if we do give spoilers out. We'll certainly let people know before we ruin anything and everything. For example, at the end of Lego Batman, there's this one scene. No.
I can feel people like, pause.
Yeah.
I felt that tension.
Yeah. There is a guy I work with who I am friends with. I love him to death. But his superpower, because I believe that everybody has a superpower. One of his superpowers is to ruin whatever media you haven't watched yet.
Wow.
Because he doesn't know how to converse about it without spoilers.
Oh, that's more like a villain. He's a villain.
It really kind of is, and I tell him that he's the villain in my life story. But he's the type to be like, "Hey, did you watch The Walking Dead last night?" And I'll be like, "Oh no, I haven't watched it yet because."
And you tell him that you haven't?
Yeah, I'll be like, "Oh no, I haven't, so don't ruin it for me." He'll be like, "Oh okay, when you do watch it, there's this one scene where Rick is walking along, right? And Rick, he takes 4 steps, and then he sees this, and it's like, you're giving me way too much detail here. You're ruining the entire thing."
He's like, "Oh, I made a screenplay of it. Do you want to see this? Look at this storyboard I made." Look.
And it's like, no,
I'm not going to spoil it.
No, stop. Well, but you got the listen. It's this. Then Carol comes in, right? And no, stop. And then they kill this one guy. Stop!
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. I hate that, and I hate the culture that we're in right now, where you can't be on social media either the day of or the day after or pretty much the entire week after something happens, something that a lot of people are watching. Like, okay, perfect example, Walking Dead or like Game of Thrones or something like that, where you just can't be social online at all for the week because everyone wants to say that they saw it. Oh my god, I cried at so-and-so part, or did you see? Yes, we know, we all know. Just stop, please.
I didn't
sad
see it when so-and-so died. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I didn't know that they died. I don't have cable. I haven't watched it yet. Thank you.
Yeah, I stream it, so it comes out the next day for me. But whatever, it's cool. And I hate that. Why do we have to say instantly what does that do? What does that do for you? Like,
it's superiority, I think, especially with the guy I work with. I think it's just he's trying to share and just trying to prove that he knows more than you.
Yeah. Anyways, that's shitty. Don't spoil shit.
Not without warnings,
people.
At least.
Without warnings. Like,
turn it off. Run away.
If you put in like a sentence at the top of your Facebook post, if you haven't watched Walking Dead yet, don't read the rest of this. Okay, cool. Yep. Definitely. Yep. Thanks for letting me know, man. I appreciate it. But if it starts off in all caps, oh my God, I can't believe he's dead, and I'm like, oh fucking Christ.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Rick dies this episode. Spoilers ahead. I had to pick someone that I don't think is going to die in this show, because anything else, someone would yell at me down the road.
Yeah. But what if he like? What if like he's about to die and somebody's listening to it way in the future?
Oh yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, let's start this Nerdy Things podcast, episode 1. Oh, Rick's gonna die. Fuck,
whatever.
You ruined it for me.
I'll take that heat.
Okay, you'll get that tweet in a few years, and someone get mad at you. Anyways, we got into spoilers and things like that. Do you want to get into it? Get into our main discussion?
Sure, absolutely.
So we were going to discuss, since it's our pilot episode, the very first one, we're going to talk about, some of our favorite pilots. And I was thinking maybe like what makes a good pilot episode for you? What makes you keep watching after the first one? And then we're going to talk about some of our favorites.
I mean, I don't know about for you. But some of my favorite pilots are the type that are sort of standalone type of things.
Yeah.
Like the Battlestar Galactica movie for the 2003 Battlestar Galactica, where it's sort of not closes off, but like it's a complete story in and of itself. And then they build from that and make the series. I think that's phenomenal. I think the ability to have sort of an encapsulated story that is larger than that story but ends.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the marks of a good pilot.
Not a lot of. I'm trying to think of some more pilots that do that sort of thing. That, the closest one I think that came out recently was probably like Westworld. Westworld was a good first pilot. It's on HBO. On all the HBOs or whatever. Westworld, there used to be a movie, and then it just came out as a series with Anthony Hopkins and all them. But that whole first episode was fantastic from beginning to end, and it kind of like closed off. You can literally stop like watching it, and it would still be pretty good.
Yep.
But it makes you want to know more, and there was like. I'm going to do it. I hate when people say there's a twist because then you expect it. But I was about to say, and there's a twist. I'm sorry, spoiler alert, whatever. You got to watch Westworld if you whatever. But there's they make you believe one thing for most of it, and then it just comes out to be something completely different. And it's just like, whoa, that kind of threw me. Oh my God, what's going to happen in the series? And it's just like a good all around first episode to start off. And the rest of the series is fantastic.
Yeah.
So
it's great when you have that twist that does things later. One pilot that I liked the pilot, hated the series, was Lost.
Yes.
Because, and it's not that I hated the guy flying the plane. I actually hated I loved the first episode of it. I loved the mystery of it. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I feel like through the series they had some good episodes, but I definitely got the feeling that they had no idea where they were going at the end.
Too many questions, not enough answers.
No, they didn't actually answer anything. They kind of set up more questions and just kind of took a fan theory and ran with it at the end.
Yeah, even after like the first season, I had like a bajillion questions, and then they just kept piling it on. I was like, oh shit, okay, first season, cool. Let's go into the second one. All right. I guess you're not gonna talk about any of the stuff. You're just not gonna let me. And I just kept going and going, and they just kept doing that. But yeah, definitely, I like whenever shows give you a lot of mystery to what's going on. Definitely keeping you engaged by not giving it all away at the beginning. Kind of keeping you like wanting to watch every other minute and keep continuing the series. It's just like I watched recently the Netflix original Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. It's on our list.
Yeah. So I won't spoil it at all. But Santa Clarita Diet, the first episode gives me too much. So that it kind of goes with the opposite of what makes it a good. It was a good series. I enjoyed the series. I watched the entire thing, but the first episode it was just like put you in there, gives you an idea, gives you a few ideas, and it's just like, I wish you would have left that. And the mystery that it leaves you with are not enough to make you keep watching it. But
really?
I watched it because it was interesting. Yeah, it was just like, okay, but it's funny and it's quirky and it's intelligent. So it is it's a good series overall. But on the Netflix originals, I think they could have done better. Or it's not one of the strongest Netflix originals, I don't think.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I read something the other day about how the quality overall of Netflix has gone down because they're focusing on more of their original content and not paying for movies and things that are popular. And that's fine. I think they're going to be hit or miss because I love House of Cards. I think that's spectacular. I think the Marvel Netflix stuff is absolutely amazing, despite the fact that we're not getting a lot of like special effects in the superheroes. We're getting more camera wiped or cuts away from when people get hit or show their powers or fly or whatever. And I'm fine with that. It's more about the story. And I think the story of that is great.
And they do a really good job. And let's the House of Cards, got to give a shout out to the House of Cards pilot, because that is a fantastic pilot.
Yeah,
at
really the end, well. you're just blown away, and that's great. It's like the first episode of we talked a little bit about Game of Thrones. That first episode of Game of Thrones, if you can get to the end of that episode, I feel like you are not a person if you don't want to watch the next episode.
Right? It does bring you in slowly, and then it gives you so much, and then it's just like, what is going on? We got to keep going. And I think even after the pilot, I was like, I need to read this book. So I read the first book. I don't know if I started right after the pilot, maybe right after the first season, but I ended up reading the whole first Game of Thrones book because it was so good. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I couldn't get through the second one. It was like a wall of text to me.
Yeah. After a while, like I had to take a break from reading things because there was so much more development. There's so many more characters and families and things like that, and it's just like sometimes I had to write them down. No, to write down like connections with people and connections.
It reads like an old family history.
Yeah, and it's fantastic that he built the world like that. True. And I couldn't do that, but
no. But apparently that actually wasn't the pilot originally for the show. There was a different episode that was shot that was the reason that it was picked up, and then massively reshot. Like people were recast. Everybody was there at least 5 or 6 people were recast for it, including Emilia Clarke as Daenerys. All of I think even Meister Pycelle or I don't know, is he in the first episode? It doesn't matter. One of the Meisters completely recast. But they redid the whole thing and made it into that, and I think that episode is one of the most perfect first episodes.
Definitely.
The pilot wasn't released to the public, so that's what you get to bring people in. You did it right.
Yeah, and they're going strong. Hopefully we'll definitely have a Game of Thrones episode, of course, when it gets closer to some cool Game of Thrones stuff. So yeah, definitely not giving it all away in the beginning, in the first episode. I like pacing. I think the pacing in the first episode of The Walking Dead was fantastic. When Rick's just sort of like, what's going on? I don't know. And you're sort of discovering it, with him. And I like that sort of pacing. It brought me back to the movie 28 Days Later, which I love. Sure. I'm a zombie fan, sort of. And 28 Days Later was that slow as well. Just slow beginning, kind of drawn out. Hey, you're the only one here. And you kind of feel that. And I love that when that happened. It was just like, you get into the shoes of Rick, and you're just like, oh man, what is all this? And it wasn't over the top, there was like the one zombie.
Yeah, he's
And,
the bicycle zombie. He's new to this world. He doesn't know the rules. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. And so that sort of pacing in a pilot is fantastic, and I love that.
Yeah. There was, did you ever see Prison Break? Did you watch the Prison Break series?
No, I have not. I heard a lot of good things about it.
That's another one that, like,
Mm-hmm.
you get the premise in the first episode. It's a great setup for it. But as the first season of that goes on, it just unfolds in this amazing natural way. And basically every episode you get this, like, twist on what you already know to be true, or you get this one holy shit moment where it's like, how did they get out of this? I thought it was a great series. You know, and everything now that I see Wentworth Miller in, he is that character from Prison Break.
Yeah, he's that person for you.
Oh yeah, well that's my one flaw is that I look at actors as if they play the same character, even if they have different names in everything that they're in.
Yeah,
And it's just the natural progression of that character somehow.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That I'm gonna try that now. I'm gonna be like, try and build off of what an actor did previously, and then just be like, how did that character get to this point?
Oh, and sometimes it works out very well.
Yeah.
Wentworth Miller is in one of the Resident Evil movies. I could not tell you which one right now. But in it, the people in it are trapped in a prison that is surrounded by zombies, and he is the only one that knows how to get out of the prison.
Damn. So yeah.
So he
just
does it
lived
again.
long enough. Yeah. To be into the Resident Evil series. That's cool.
What else you got? You got any more pilots for me?
Oh, I do. Yes. Let's see. Oh yeah. Going off of what you were saying, how you can see people doing, or actors being that character as before. So I watched recently the series of Unfortunate Events.
Yes.
Again, Netflix original.
It's great.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's great. I love it. I read the books back when I was a little younger. I have the original movie eye, like the eye on his ankle. I have that tattooed on my left ankle as well, because it was a great series for me, and I learned a whole lot about English and about how to speak correctly from that series, because he does a lot of cool stuff. And you know, I love the series. It was great. I want to see what's going on next, but I cannot get Neil Patrick Harris out of his role from How I Met Your Mother. I just couldn't. It was horrible.
Yeah, well, it didn't hurt that Robin Scherbatsky was also in a series of Unfortunate Events.
And I was like, oh, really? I was like, cool. Okay. Yeah, it's just I don't think he changed enough for his voice, or I kind of just kept hearing Barney just talking, and I was just like, okay. And I can still kind of see Neil Patrick Harris underneath the makeup and the fake nose and the fake hair and all that.
But that's kind of the problem, because I could picture Barney doing all of this.
Yeah. It was just too much of the same, and I was just like, this is interesting. And whenever he was trying to be really menacing to the kids, I just didn't really believe it, just because I was like, Barney wouldn't do that. Barney's not like that. Don't do that. So it kind of like took it away from me a little bit. And even though it was a great pilot, great series, and I recommend it for everybody that enjoys comedy with a bunch of dark stuff that's going on, and it was a really interesting take away from the Jim Carrey movie. I just couldn't get him out from the Barney character.
Yeah, I'm glad they went away from the Jim Carrey movie, because that was a single movie despite the series they had planned for a reason. Yeah,
it was a thing. I was like, okay, that's what you're going to give me? Excuse me. I read all these books, and that's the best. That's the best you got. Okay, cool, interesting. And then they were changing stuff from the books, whatever. Anyways, yeah, series of Unfortunate Events, Netflix original, great episode, great pilot.
Yep.
One of the worst. How about let's talk about like some bad pilots? I guess I only have one on my list. The Rob Schneider. Okay, way back in the day, there was I guess at the beginning of Netflix, when they started doing Netflix originals, there was like this Rob Schneider whatever series. I don't even know what it's called. I think you can. It's still up there. It was like one of their very first Netflix originals. They really didn't want to call it their Netflix original because it was so bad.
Oh, God.
So it's barely like Rob Schneider's whatever comedy series Netflix original. Really slow, really small on the screen or something. Netflix original. It's like,
so it's like all
shit.
the Adam Sandler movies that they have a contract for, but they're not promoting in any way, shape, or form.
They're not on the front page at all.
No.
So it's way in the back of the Netflix archive. It's like you see this like huge Netflix warehouse. That's what I picture Netflix as, just a huge warehouse, and it's just way in the back, hidden in all the spider webs. The fucking Rob Schneider show. And I think that's what it's called, the Rob Schneider Show. I don't know. You can watch clips on YouTube in the audience if you don't have Netflix, but it's just really bad. There's nothing else to it. It's just really bad the way he's portrayed. I don't know if he wanted to be portrayed as a douchebag, but he is. He's just talking about how awesome his friends are, like Adam Sandler and Norm Macdonald's in there for a thing. And he's just talking about like how much money he has. He has his wife as playing his wife in the show, and she's not an actress. She's just a very beautiful Mexican American woman, and she's just doing her thing, looking hot. And it's just like, that's, you just want to show us how much quote unquote money you have.
I think I remember this being advertised once.
Just one.
Just the once.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I gave that a miss for good reason. I don't have a lot of bad pilot episodes that I can think of off the top of my head. I have a general rule. I'll give a show 3 episodes, and because I expect the pilot to be, if not bad, then at least slow, and I give it a chance to go from there. You know, if it's a great pilot, I'm in from the start. If it's slow, like I didn't think Breaking Bad was a great start. I felt it didn't hit the tone of the show, but by the 3rd episode of Breaking Bad, I was in completely.
Yeah, that's a good general rule. And yeah, I was going to bring up Breaking Bad. Yeah, it was just kind of somewhere in the middle, I think, for me. And it was just like, okay, I can either stop watching this or I can keep going. And I'm glad I kept going, because it ended up being like a fantastic series and something that a lot of people hold dear to them in the nerd culture.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I kind of love it too when you have like a pilot episode or an introduction or something about the show, and then by the time you get to the real show, they've either swapped out characters or they're playing a different role, like with the Flash, where they did that sort of pilot within Arrow. I don't know if you've watched either of those.
I've seen some of that. Yeah.
Cisco was definitely playing a different role in that Arrow pilot than he did when they got to the actual Flash. I think they realized that he was a really decent actor and should have been a bigger part of the show, and wrote a bigger role for him.
Yeah, and you see that kind of happening sometimes whenever they just kind of grow into each other, like production team and actors and all that. They're just kind of like, oh, this is kind of where we fit. This is kind of how we want to be received now. And it's like, we get it. We get what we're doing together. And it's just like, it's awesome when you see that click whenever an episode or a series is kind of going all right, and then it's just like, whoa, that's a great episode. They finally clicked. They finally know what they're doing, and it's just fantastic. When
hey, forget all that stuff we did before. We're good now.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. Just make it through. Thank you for making it through that far.
Yeah.
And we won't shovel shit at you anymore. Thanks. So yeah, I think that's all the. Oh, another pilot that I wrote down was Will Smith in Independence Day, because he was a good pilot. I couldn't say that straight. All right.
Yeah,
anyways, that was my that's my list of pilots that were good. Oh, another one I missed it right here. Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I love Doctor Who. I have a lot of nerdy tattoos. They're all kind of super nerdy. I have a Pokemon, 2 Harry Potter ones, the series Unfortunate Events, one of the vials from BioShock Infinite, and a TARDIS tattoo. So those are kind of my things. But Doctor Who, whenever they were revamping for the Doctor number 9, Chris Eccleston.
Yep.
So good. It did what I liked when it was just like a slow sort of focusing on Rose, the character Rose and her family, her kind of like life, and it's just like, oh, what's kind of going on? And then when you finally see the doctor and he's like, run, that's the first thing that you hear from him, and it's just like, oh, whoa, what is this? And it just kept me enthralled all the way through, and it was just great. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
so
kind of a
that's
nice,
another
simple story, gives you a little bit of background, and then it sort of unpacks itself into that larger world.
Yeah, and it didn't give it all away. It was just like, if you didn't know anything about Doctor Who before, it was just like, okay, here's this guy, spaceship, whatever, cool. And then episode 2 starts unpacking, keeps going. And it's like, whoa, okay, this is a thing. And then it just goes from there. And that's awesome. Because like sometimes you kind of get overwhelmed. And, you know.
No doubt. I mean, one of my biggest pet peeves, absolute hands down biggest pet peeves, is time travel and how they mess it up every time in works of fiction. And Doctor Who is one of the ones that just gets a pass because it doesn't matter. But they at least handle that within the universe, where they acknowledge it and they say, that's just how it works, get over it. And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
If I had $1 for every time it was just like, yeah, well, that's just how it goes. He's the doctor. That's kind of the thing. It's just like, he's the doctor.
Go. Don't worry about it because it doesn't. That's just how we wrote it. Fine, I'm in.
Yeah,
but, you know,
that's the only series I think that can do that.
It pretty much is, because I look at like Legends of Tomorrow and all of these others, even The Flash, where they go back in time and they make all of these changes, and then they come back and they are still there, and they're still friends with the people they were friends with, even if, you know, so and so now has a different job or lives in a, you know, speaks with an accent, or it's like, I don't understand how that would change based on what you're doing without completely rewriting your entire history with that person.
Yeah, and when, I mean, time travel, on their defense, time travel is tricky, but I mean, I think if you're gonna attempt it, at least kind of do the homework and get a lot of people on it, get a lot of people figuring it out, because the nerd culture is gonna call you out, definitely, if you do it wrong.
Absolutely. You know, farm it out to a couple of people. I get that they're trying to make something entertaining, and I get that often the story trumps the science behind it. I do. I understand that completely. It's about the money, but I don't think it's that tough to make the story internally consistent and still tell a good story. There's definitely ways to do that. You know, I read a lot of like self-published books online. I'll have to find it for the show notes, but I read a couple of time travel ones recently that were absolutely phenomenal. I don't usually pay for these books. I get them when they're free on Amazon or whatever, and just I expect that I'm going to hate them. And I loved this one. And on its heels, I read another one that was just a head scratcher. I couldn't figure out what the guy was trying to do with it. In the first one, they set up this world where you could travel through time, but you had to be connected to an item. So like you could put your hand on the wall and travel along that wall's timeline. And as long as you came out of it without touching, like if you came back when there was something else where you were going to land, forget it. You were, you know, going to skewer yourself on whatever it was. But as long as you were careful about it, as long as that wall existed, you can travel through time. And you can do that with rocks and with antenna and with anything at all. And it was just a spectacular way to do that. And they addressed changing time, and they addressed how you have to, you know, account for different timelines and all of this in a way that just, both within the story and within what I imagine time travel would look like, it made so much sense. And then there was another guy that had someone show up from the future and tell him where to go to start the story, and then made it so that person never existed. And so he basically wrote himself out of his own story. And I just don't understand how you do that.
Yeah.
There has to be a point where you go, well, wait a minute, that just means that none of this is ever going to happen.
Yeah, you don't think the other end, and people are going to pick up on it. people are going to know. We've been exposed to time travel a whole lot now, and we kind of have our own idea Everybody has their own idea of how time travel works, but we all have sort of the same principles that mean it's gonna work. You can't just like go back in time and then stop something and then everything be. I don't know. My first sort of entrance into the time travel sort of thing was the butterfly effect, which was really good.
I'm so sorry.
Why? Why? I like the first butterfly effect. That's what got me interested. I'm not saying it was great.
Yeah, no, but I'm sorry, both because of Ashton Kutcher and because of that movie overall.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they made a 2 and a 3, right? They made like Butterfly Effect 2, Butterfly Effect 3 with not Ashton Kutcher at all.
Not in my timeline. In my timeline, they barely even made the first one. So
okay, not my timeline. Yeah. So I mean, that was my first like, okay, what's time travel? What's this whole thing? And then I realized that it could be done so much better with better like actors and elements and things like that. But we kind of have our own ideas based on what we've consumed time travel wise. We all have our own ideas about what time travel should be and how it works. And whenever somebody does it really good, it's awesome, and it makes you sometimes there's like new ideas that people propose, like that what you just said about that book that you read. I never really thought about that, and that's a cool idea.
I thought it was spectacular. I'm definitely going to put it in the show notes because I
for sure.
I think more people should read his books. But yeah, you're not wrong. There are many different ideas on time travel. There's like 3 or 4 that really make sense, and I don't care which you use. I just want people to be internally consistent. You're going to hear that repeatedly through me. Internal consistency within the world that you create is all I ever ask of a movie or a show or anything like that. And I'm going to call you on every instance where you forget that.
If you set up a set of rules for me to believe in, like in the pilot, like, oh, okay, this can happen. This happens when this thing does whatever.
Yep.
This happens. Okay, cool. Thanks for setting it up for me. And then if in like episode 3 it doesn't work like that, okay, well, fuck this. Everything I knew is a lie now. And it just makes you, think,
have
I can't trust these
a reason why
people.
You're changing it. Or if you don't have that reason, don't change it.
And if you don't have that reason, just write for Doctor Who. Because
I'm going to say one of the saddest time travel statements ever. Bill and Ted is a better time travel movie than Back to the Future.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in Back to the Future.
It may or may not be a better movie. That is not the argument. But the time travel in it is definitely more internally consistent.
Definitely, yes, I can agree with you on that. The time travel aspect of it, yes. Is it more entertaining? I love Back to the Future. Yeah. And again, I'm like, okay, I'm okay with sometimes I'm like, I'm
no
okay
argument.
With that.
It's a good story, and they made sacrifices for the story, but it's not scientifically accurate. And I'm doing the air quotes because I know that time travel doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Or does it?
Or does it?
Big pause. Contemplating life. You're like, whoa.
Oh, I was just giving time for myself to come back and stop myself. Didn't happen.
No? Okay. Damn. Yeah, I don't see anybody here either. Any other me's. But yeah, definitely we should do maybe do in the future Bill and Ted versus Back to the Future episode, maybe. Maybe time travel episode
we'll
as well.
Have to watch
so
them.
Yeah, awesome. So do you want to do the thing where we I figured you would go first and I get to pick.
I picked pilots. This is your deal. Tell me what you want for next week.
Oh, cool. Okay. Cool. So I think the way we're going to do it, talking to the audience, the way we're going to do it every week is one of us is going to pick 2 maybe topics or ideas, and the other person gets to choose which one. We're kind of pitching it to the other person on why they should choose that topic, and then we'll, go about the week, think about it, maybe consume some more content to help us, and then we'll come back and discuss it for the next episode. And if you want to, send in your suggestions or, let us know what you want to hear, you can always email us nerdythingspod@gmail.com.
Well done.
Or at, I was like, Yeah. Anyways, at Nerdy Things Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can tweet us, message us, all that stuff for suggestions and things like that. So, okay, this is topic 1. Top or favorite gaming franchises. Ones that stuck out to you, ones that have, stood the test of time. Some of your, some stories about when you played certain franchises or whatever. Top gaming franchises. Or... let's talk about the Lego franchise, or this topic 2. Lego franchise as in the Lego games. There's been a ton of Lego games and a few Lego movies. So we can talk about that as topic 2. So you can pick one of those top gaming franchises or let's talk about just the Lego franchise in general.
Hey man, I'm going to see Lego Batman today. We're going to talk about Lego next week.
Awesome. Sounds good. I was thinking that you're going to say that. So
yeah,
cool.
That was a trap. You set that up for me.
That's gonna be the thing every time. I'm gonna choose one really good one that I really want.
See, and that's why I was afraid of doing it this way. This is why I argued against it. But I'm gonna do it back to you.
Oh, okay, cool. Shit. Now it's gonna be something I don't know at all.
Now we can talk about why murdering children is good, or we can talk about comic books. Your choice.
No pressure. We're just looking for good content here. No pressure at all. Shit. All right. So yeah, there you go. Lego franchise is going to be the next episode 2, or what is this? Is this going to be episode 1?
This will be episode 1. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So episode 2 next week, and we're going to be doing it on Thursdays. They're going to be releasing on Thursdays.
Releasing Thursday nights, unless something catastrophic happens.
Cool. You fall in love with the Lego Batman movie and watch it 10 more times. I think that's what's going to happen.
Listen, I can't. I do have the ability to sneak into the theater through the back door.
Oh shit! Yeah, you do. Yeah. So maybe Friday nights. Thursday nights is when the podcast will be dropping, and it'll be on. Where will it be on?
It's going to be up eventually on iTunes, Google Play, everywhere that you get podcasts.
Awesome. That sounds cool. So I want to thank Brian Holman, who is adipsia.bandcamp.com for the intro and outro music. Friends Don't Let Friends Go to TGI Fridays. That's one of his songs, and you can listen to more of his songs there. Adipsia, ADIPSIA.bandcamp.com to hear some more music.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks, Kevin. That's episode 1.
Thanks, Jules. Bye, everyone.